This $800 bike doesn't have it. This $1,000 bike doesn't have it. This $1,200 bike doesn't have it. And even this $2,000 bike doesn't have it. But this $929 bike does. And that's a weird price for a bike, but okay. So what does this have that the others don't? Well, it's full suspension, which is super rare for a bike less than $950. Now, when Lectric doesn't add full suspension to their $1,000 models, you would assume that something has to give for companies that do in order to stay at the same price. Now, is that gonna be a less powerful motor, cheap gear along the handlebars, a bike that doesn't feel or sound good? Or did these guys find the right balance of performance and power? To find that out, let's first take a look at the suspension. Now, the front fork suspension is, oh yeah, I think to put it nicely, not the best. And I want to say that you can adjust or lock that out, and you cannot. That is turning, but I think that's just a cap. Yeah, that's doing nothing. Doesn't do us a dang bit of good. Well, you want to know the first give in this bike? It's cheaper in suspension, at least in the front fork. I've been riding this for a couple days, and that's the only time I bottomed it out. So lesson is, don't go off curbs. Now, how about the rear? Actually, a nice looking rear if I don't say so myself. Actually, I've got no complaints with the rear suspension. It's got some pretty good travel. Now, there is a bonus suspension. Underneath the saddle, there is some spring. So it does have triple suspension. They've done a pretty good job trying to make this as comfortable as possible, except for not putting enough dampening in that front fork. Now, as far as power, they've done a pretty good job for a $930 bike. This tops out at 25 miles an hour. Most brands in the same price range are topping out about 21 to 22. In fact, I think it's actually one of the faster bikes off the line for a $900 bike. But you know, that's easy to say when you have a flat road. So I'm gonna go find a hill and see if the power is still the same for climbing as with other bikes in the same class. I don't think they like me too much. I made it to the hill test. Now, before I start to climb this, and it's very steep, that's almost a 20% grade, wanted to give you guys an update on the battery. So I got 3 bars missing. Hitting it with a little bit of momentum. I'm gonna pedal. Actually, I'm gonna go full throttle. You can hear the motor. It's not liking it, but it is coming up over the top, just crawling, but it made it full throttle. Oh, damn. I'm actually really impressed that that bike made it up that hill. Let's go. Now, the question that I had earlier, did they get the perfect balance of comfort and power? Honestly, I think they nailed it. A full suspension, $930 bike with a poppy acceleration, a decent speed, and able to climb. That's pretty dang cool. Those are the 2 things that I wanted to focus on. The rest of it is pretty much standard and basic, and that's what I want to cover now. And you don't get more standard than the grips. You also got a cheap feeling flick bell, not so nice feeling brake levers. The most common shifter I've seen on e-bikes, that's a Shimano SIS Index. I like the color LCD screen and the control pad, which is the same one that you'll find on electric bikes. Oh, you got standard disc brakes. Right side controls the rear, left side the front. They do have motor cutoff, and the tail light does flare up when either lever's pressed. Another standard feature is how it collapses and adjusts. It folds in just like every other bike. Handlebars fold down, pedals fold in, and frame collapses in half. If you need a demonstration of all that, there's like 15 videos on YouTube of people doing that. I don't want to do that. I'm going to show you the good stuff. Unless you think that folding up a bike and unfolding a bike is the good stuff, then please vacate the channel and have a nice day. Now, one thing that is not standard, which I'm not sure I even want to talk about it because I don't think it can actually hold as much weight as they say it can hold, which is 400 pounds. You're telling me that this bike can hold 400 pounds? I don't know, Mukpet. I want to see it. But it only weighs 70 pounds, so not terribly heavy. And it can fit a rider 5'6" up to 6'4", and that's when you adjust all this crap. Some more standard features are the plastic fenders. You got the same saddle that I see on a ton of e-bikes, same type of rack that can hold 50 pounds, same standard headlights. The wiring up front can sometimes be messy, but this one they've done a pretty good job. They've got a sleeve wrapped around it. If you hate that, you can just unzip it and chuck it on the ground. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you could. And then the last thing I want to talk about are the puncture resistant tires. Again, a nice touch for a $920 bike. Can I say $920 one more time in this review? Well, I thought this was the perfect balance of power and comfort. And if you want to check out other bikes that I felt the same way about, I will have them here and here. So go check those out. Tell me what you think. As always, thanks for watching and take care.